So welcome back to Tuesday Talk. And today we're going to talk about one that's closer to me and one that I go over a lot, which is fatherhood and legacy. Happy belated Father's Day again to you all. Thinking about fatherhood and legacy, I really wanted to dive into this because this is something that I go over constantly. My father died in 2004, and it being 2020, a lot of the things that he taught me when I was younger, I hear more and more now. So I realized the importance of one key thing. And with legacy comes foundation. And I have to say, the foundation that I was given was definitely something that I cannot scoff at or take for granted. A lot of people didn't have the luxuries that I had. I had a father who was very in tune, who cared deeply about his children, and whose main happiness and priority involved us. And that was taking care of us and letting us know that he wouldn't always be here, but the tools that he would give us would live through and hopefully would carry on to the next generation. And that is what I plan on to fulfill in my father's legacy. So there's certain things and pivotal points with my father that stick out the most. One is when he talked to me, he said that I would want to run away from my calling and what I would do. And I feel like now at 35, I'm getting closer and closer and closer to my calling or what I believe in or what I stand in and what's becoming me as a human being. And that's something that he talked to me about when I was 10 years old. So to be now 35 and him not be here, but to be able to say that, yeah, he was right. And yes, I'm trying to go closer to that. And I think that's the same for a lot of people today. We try and stray away from our attributes or what we feel fulfills us as people or as men. And for some reason we stray away from it because it's not what's popular, it's not what's most exciting, it's not what your friends or your circle is doing. And I realized this early on for me that I was different than everyone else, but I didn't know how to cope with my difference. And more as time goes on, I realize being okay with myself is the best thing that I can be. And that's the whole point of flip culture for me, is just following a life's path that isn't geared towards anybody else, but just my own. And helping other people realize they should do the same thing. They shouldn't worry about who's to the left of them or who's to the right of them. And again, it's because of the foundation that I was given that I'm able to do that. And I'm able to see that. And that's the whole point to me now as a man for me having kids is, am I instilling that same concept into them? Because children, believe it or not, they enact off of your actions and their surroundings more off of what you're saying. So you can say, I love you every day. You can say, I care about you every day. But do you take them out and spend time with them? Do you read with them? Do you teach them? Do you learn with them? If you're not doing those things, then your actions don't show that you love them. And you can't expect them to show you anything else. And that's what I love about children, is because they're just honestly a mirror image of whatever is being shown or given to them. So it allows you to examine and self-evaluation yourself constantly on a daily basis. And looking back at my father, he did this so speechless and effortlessly that it really kind of makes me think, who will I be in the same situation? So legacy driven, he has shown me a legacy of fulfillment through action, not through words, not through his see me do this and watch me do this, but just his spirit. And his spirit is what lives on daily for me. When you look at yourselves, can you say the same thing for who you're raising or who you come in contact with on a daily basis? You may not have kids, but as you grow up, you realize you become a mentor to people. And what are you teaching them? What are you showing them? And when you become that mentor, how heavy does it lay on your heart? Because to me, the great mentors, they think about it constantly. and they say, someone's watching me. I think that's what separates the Kobe Bryants from the Michael Jordans. I'm a big Michael Jordan fan, probably the biggest. But at the same token, I respect Kobe because he understood that he was a role model and a mentor, whether he wanted to be or whether he had to be. He was going to be that for people. And it wasn't just men, it wasn't just boys, it was girls, it was kids, parents. He just wanted to show an overall dominant image for how to make it daily. And when I look at my father, the image that he shows and the time that he gave is not something that I take for granted. Something that I did take for granted, but not something now that I take for granted, because it's something hard to do. So your legacy lives on without you. And I just ask you, what will be said about you after you go, and what will be lived on in your name? So on this fatherhood and on this time, remember, legacy is most important. Thanks for tuning in to Flip Culture TV. Again, these are my thoughts. This is what I think about. If you're thinking about the same thing, or if you have any questions, please comment, ask me, and we can talk about this in our village together. Have a good one. True Vision XIV, always tune in. Thanks.